पढ़ो तुम भी आप,
समझ में नहीं आएगा।
Northern or southern blot together. Now we start with the western. So, the principle of western blot. Western blotting is the interaction between the proteins and the probe used for the detection of the protein. So, this one is a transfer of the protein. So, it is known as a western blotting. When you have to transfer the DNA on the nitrocellulose membrane, that will be the southern blot. And when you have to transfer the RNA on the nitrocellulose membrane or DBM paper, then it will be the northern blot. Second thing about that is the protein used for the western blotting are separated by gel electrophoroses. In case of northern blot or southern blot, it also prior to transfer, we have to separate the DNA band or the RNA band with the help of the gel electrophoroses. So in this case, we also separate this protein band according to their molecular weight and size with the help of the electrophoroses. And that electrophoroses will be, this one is a Page electrophoroses or polyacrylamide electrophoroses. Then why we use Page for the protein and agarose for the DNA? Because for the pore size. We have a different pore size in Page and we have a different pore size in agarose. Basically, Page have a small pore or large pore. Page have a small pore as compared to agarose. Then proteins are then transferred to the nitrocellulose membrane or PVDF paper. When they are immobilized, the transfer of the protein is known as a blotting. The signal or color generated by the probe require a detection system that is appropriate for the signal or intensity generated. So what about the probe and or which type of probe we used for the identification of the protein? Suppose your interest of your desired protein, how can you know about your protein of interest or desired protein, or how can you identify a particular protein? Suppose in a test tube there is a mixture of protein, and in this mixture you want to know your desired protein. So how can you identify your protein? A particular protein can be identified by so the requirement for western blot, So the requirement for the western blot is gel electrophoroses. In gel electrophoroses, first is gel is new Page. New Page is, anyone knows about new Page? First new Page. New Page is actually the gel which is orthodox gel or traditional gel that is used, that is a glycerine gel, or you can polymerize acrylamide and plus base acrylamide, 2% or 0.8% and 1.22%. Then you polymerize this acrylamide and this acrylamide. So and you use glycerine and all this. So this one is a traditional gel or glycerine gel. Okay, this gel is a ready-made gel, you can say. It is a base trace gel. New Page is base trace gel, and it having the neutral pH. The most important thing for this gel is this one has a neutral pH. According to neutral pH, the modification of protein will not done in this gel. Okay, so your protein, if that protein is separated, so that will be separated accordingly. Okay, no change will occur if you have to separate this protein to gel. So this one is a ready-made and already polymerized gel. acrylamide and bisacrylamide, all the compositions present in this gel, you have to use this gel. You dissolve this gel into distilled water, then basically pour this gel on the plane. Okay. So, or you can say this one is a neutral, the gel which is having the neutral pH. Okay. Or if you are talking about you already know about the electrophores. So there is a, when you have to separate the protein band in phase. So there are two types of gel you make. First is a stacking gel, second is a dissolving gel, and both have a different types of pH. The stacking gel have a pH of 6.8 and the dissolving gel have a pH of 8.8. So the phenomena for the stacking gel, which is having pH 6.8, is used for the isoelectrophoresis, in which a sharp band will obtain. Protein will density, the well provided the density, and according to this density, protein will be separated in a sharp band. Okay, so the isoelectrophoresis will happen. And when protein enter into the dissolving gel, that is known as the separating gel, which is having pH 8.8, so the protein separated or fragmented out according to their molecular weight, mass and charge ratio. Okay, so higher molecular weight protein on the upside and lower molecular weight protein on the downside. So that protein will be separated. So there is two types of well. The well is formed in the stacking gel. So this one is a stacking gel and this one is a dissolving gel. The well will form in the stacking gel and then protein's band will form in the dissolving gel. This one is have a pH 6.8, this one is a pH 8.8. So what about the significance of the neutral pH? Suppose you are performing a phase electrophoresis on a neutral pH. So what will be the significance of that pH if it is a neutral pH?
Mobility of the positive and negative are the same.
Yes, the functions of the SDS will be neutral in that measure. The function of the SDS is, if there is a SDS phase, so SDS is a highly negatively charged detergent molecule, so it can bind between the two amino acids or two. That's why overall charge of the protein molecule which you want to separate, that is SDS provided as a negative charge. Okay, so in the electric field, a negative protein will migrate very easily or towards the positive value. Okay, so SDS provided the negative charge to the protein, and when you put the neutral pH gel on that for the separation of protein, so that means it will migrate according to their molecule, according to their charge which is present on that protein. Okay. So this one is the significance of that gel. Next is a power supply. All the electrophoresis unit needs a power supply. Then sample buffer, which is used for the transfer. Then heating block, sample reducing buffer, and pre-stained protein ladder. Ladder means a different molecular weight RFLP, 10 kD or 15 kD or 20 kD. Okay, so in the ascending order or descending order, you can use a selectable marker. So this one is a marker protein. You have 5 different types of marker proteins. So all these marker proteins having a known molecular weight. Okay, suppose 20 kD, then 15 kD, then 10 kD or whatever. So you can, the importance of the selectable marker or standard marker protein. The importance of, if you are using a suppose if you are using a standard marker protein, so what will be the main purpose for the using of a standard marker protein? Determine to
required protein molecule.
Determine to molecular weight.
Yeah.
So with the help of the marker protein we have. This one is, suppose this one is a 20 kD, this one is a 15 kD, then 10 kD, 5 kD, then 2 kD. And this is a band, a sample band. So how can you calculate the molecular weight of this band? Actually, standard marker provide the this one is you load the standard marker or ladder of a standard marker protein. So suppose you use 5 ladder or 5 sequences of 5 protein, non-protein weight. So these are the according to molecular weight standard marker separated. Now these are 4 band, and if you want to calculate the molecular weight of this band with the help of the कैसे करेंगे इसका मोलेकुलर वेट कैसे निकालोगे? ये 20 के सामने है तो इसका मतलब 20 हो गया, या इससे नीचे कैसे निकालोगे? कैसे नहीं ऐसे करके तो फिर ये तो जर्नल पर्पस हो गया ना, इसको निकालोगे कैसे? हाँ, विद द हेल्प ऑफ द कैलिब्रेशन कर्व तुम इसको लोगे ना, इसमें तुम्हें क्या, इसमें नॉन मॉलिक्यूलर वेट हो गया, सो यूर लॉग मॉलिक्यूलर वेट प्लस डिस्टेंस ट्रैवल बाय द बैंड, एक कैलिब्रेशन कर्व फॉर्म करो, डिस्टेंस लो और फिर उसका मॉलिक्यूलर वेट डिजाइन करो. सो बाय द यूज ऑफ द कैलिब्रेशन कर्व with the help of the known protein you can find out the molecular weight of unknown protein. Okay, so this one is the significance of the pre-strained protein ladder that is used as a standard marker. Next thing is protein transfer. First is a mini trans plot consisting of a time delayed blot module. Whatever that assembly is stored with cooling ice, so that is a frozen when needed. 0.45 mm nitrocellulose filter paper. This one is the thickness of the nitrocellulose membrane filter paper, 0.45 mm. Then transfer buffer, methanol. This is the part of the Western blot equipment or assembly. Plastic peptidase, dissolvable gel knife. Basic power supply. Then stress buffer, shaker and power to dry milk. Non-fat dry milk is for 10% powdered non-fat dry milk. So, what is the purpose of using dry milk on the this blotting? It is used as a for incubation that can block the remaining hydrophobic sites of the nitrocellulose membrane. Okay, 10% weight by volume. You can use a BSA solution, or instead of BSA, you can also use a non-fat dry milk. So that can block the remaining site on the remaining side of the nitrocellulose membrane. Then square disposable plastic packages, plastic pouches, impulse gel documentation system. For the visualization, you use gel documentation system. Now the real blotting technique will be started from this side. Sample preparation. First thing is the most important thing, that is sample preparation. How you prepare your sample. In the case of DNA, that will be digested with the destruction enzyme. So you find the RFP fragment. In the case of RNA, that will be digested by the RNase enzyme, or then remain single stranded with the help of the formaldehyde. So it can remain in the single stranded form, and after DNA RNA, the proteins. So if there is a 4 polypeptide chain, or there is a, you have to isolate a cytoplasmic protein, and this cytoplasmic protein you want to go through the page for this cytoplasmic protein. So first you have to isolate that cytoplasmic protein, then you use to separate, or you can use, suppose your objective is to isolate the membrane protein, a peripheral membrane protein or integral membrane protein. So you have to prepare a sample. First you have to digest this membrane protein with the help of the EDT or detergent agent, which can break the hydrophobic interaction between the protein bond, or you use a chelating agent such as EDTA, which remove the divalent cation. So a peripheral protein or an integral protein joined with the help of the calcium ion, and this calcium ion can be removed by the EDTA because it is a chelating agent which can remove the divalent cation from anywhere. Okay, so two proteins are separated now. So if your objective is to isolate the cytoplasmic protein, then you have to use a different type of performance. If your objective is to isolate the membrane protein, then you use different type of protocol. So there is a different types of protocol for the different type of protein separation. Okay. In unit first we have to discuss. Then the most commonly used sample for Western blot are cell lysate. That means cell lysate means we are using the cytoplasmic protein, which are collected by the process of extraction. The extraction can be achieved by different means like mechanical destruction, chemical extraction or preparation of cell homogenate, or by the use of enzymes you can isolate the cell wall. The extraction often performed at cold temperature in the presence of protease inhibitor in order to prevent the denaturation of the protein. Protease inhibitor, because when you go through the lysates, so in the case of lysosomal, the lysosomal release the hydrolytic enzymes, and these hydrolytic enzymes can degrade the protein. So that's why you use a cold temperature, okay, and use a protease inhibitor enzyme that can prevent your protein from the degradation. Proteins usually have a net positive or negative charge that reflect a mixture of amino. You already know about that. There is a composition of amino acids make that protein charge. It will be a positive charge or it will be a negative charge. That depend on the amino acid composition. If it is a positive amino acid, if it is a negative amino acid, or it is a polar amino acid, or it is a neutral amino acid, which is providing the charge of that protein. Protein will migrate at a rate that depend on its net charge, on its size and shape. So there are two protein molecules which are having the charge. Two protein molecule which is having the one protein molecule having the charge of 1.5 and other protein molecule which is having the charge of 4.5. So which protein migrate faster?
So जिस पे चार्ज
जिस पर चार्ज ज्यादा होगा, तो सपोज अगर 4.5 वाला वो फास्टर माइग्रेट करेगा, इसमें मॉलिक्यूलर वेट दोनों का जो है वो 10 kg है, सेम है।
4.5
हाँ,
सेकेंड वाला
4.5। अभी जो चार्ज था, ये चार्ज तो 4.5 का चार्ज है ना। तुमने इसमें क्या किया, जो ये यूज एक एचडीएस, इसमें भी एचडीएस को जो सैंपल प्रिपेयर किया इसमें भी एचडीएस यूज किया, इसमें भी एचडीएस यूज किया। सपोज ये दोनों पॉजिटिव चार्ज है। अब मेरा मतलब समझ रहे हो, 1.5 जिस पर चार्ज था उस पर तुमने एचडीएस उस पर भी बाइंड करेगा, जिस पर 4 चार्ज था उस पर भी एचडीएस बाइंड करेगा। दोनों केस में तो एचडीएस बाइंड करेगा ना। और एचडीएस क्या करेगा, it is a highly negatively charged detergent molecule. So when a HDS molecule bind on the protein chain, it's converted to the charge into a negative charge protein. Okay. अब then what? तो इसका ये और नेगेटिव हो जाएगा इसका। HDS तो नेगेटिव चार्ज है ना, तो जिस पर बाइंड करेगा 1-2 अमीनो एसिड्स के बीच में जहां पर बाइंड करेगा तो ओवरऑल जो चार्ज होगा उसको न्यूट्रल में चेंज करेगा, नेगेटिव चार्ज। जिसको मैग्नेट फील्ड में, इलेक्ट्रिक फील्ड में मैग्नेट को इजीली माइग्रेट करेगा। ओवरऑल जो एचडीएस बाइंड हो रहा है अगर चार्ज सेम है तो उससे कोई या चार्ज डिफरेंट है, प्रोटीन मॉलिक्यूल में एक में चार्ज अलग है, एक में चार्ज डिफरेंट है, तो उससे क्या उसके माइग्रेशन में कोई फर्क पड़ेगा? माइग्रेशन में फर्क पड़ेगा ना। तो इस केस में माइग्रेशन क्या होगा, अगर दोनों चार्ज, अगर दोनों एक दो मतलब दो ऐसे प्रोटीन पर थे जिनके चार्ज सेम थे, ठीक है ना, तो फिर उनको सेपरेट करने के लिए हम यूज करते थे क्या, 2D जेल यूज करते थे ना। फर्स्ट डायमेंशन उसमें कौन सा लेते थे? आइसोइलेक्ट्रिक फोकसिंग का फर्स्ट डायमेंशन लेते थे, सेकंड डायमेंशन लेते थे, अकॉर्डिंग टू देयर मॉलिक्यूलर वेट सेपरेट करते थे। 2D तो है ना, 2D तो पढ़ चुके हो। तो उसमें 2D पे जेल में फर्स्ट जो लेते थे वो आइसोइलेक्ट्रिक फोकसिंग पे अकॉर्डिंग टू देयर पीआई यू हैव टू आइसोलेट, और इसके बाद जेल को रिमूव करते थे और पेज में लगा देते थे। एंड इन पेज क्या होता था, दे हैव टू सेपरेट इट अकॉर्डिंग टू देयर मॉलिक्यूलर वेट। तो सेकंड डायमेंशन हो गया, ठीक है। तो उस कंडीशन में जहां पर लोग क्या करते थे, उनकी पीआई वैल्यू जो होती थी वो सेम होती थी, उस कंडीशन में करते थे। अगर यहां पर चार्ज डिफरेंट है, ठीक है, और मॉलिक्यूलर वेट सेम होगा, सपोज देयर आर टू प्रोटीन्स which is having or which are having different charges but same molecular weight, so their migration will be equal, the rate of migration will be equal, or the rate of migration will be according to their charges, according to their molecular charges. So obviously the high charges compound will be migrate faster, the low charges compound will migrate slower. Okay, so that's why we use the SDS or to maintain their charges. Na? Next is protein will migrate at the rate that depends on its net charge and its size and then shape. So what about the shape? What about the protein shape? Na? शेप का क्या फर्क पड़ेगा? साइज तो समझ में आ रहा है, वन प्रोटीन हैविंग द मॉलिक्यूलर वेट ऑफ 10 kg और 20 kg, साइज में डिफरेंस होगा। शेप प्रोटीन में लीनियर या सर्कुलर या ट्रायंगल या रेक्टेंगल कुछ भी होगा, या उसके कंपोजिशन में कोई अल्फा हेलिकल होगा या बीटा प्लेटेड शीट्स होगा, तो वो शेप है या क्वार्टरली स्ट्रक्चर होगा। यहाँ पर शेप का मतलब है प्राइमरी, सेकेंडरी और क्वार्टरली स्ट्रक्चर्स, ठीक है, दैट विल SDS हो गया, डेवलप हो गया। नेक्स्ट, इट यूजेस ए हाईली क्रॉस लिंक जेल ऑफ पॉलीएक्रिलामाइड एज द इनर्ट मैट्रिक्स थ्रू व्हिच द प्रोटीन्स माइग्रेट। Acrylamide or polyacrylamide that will be polymerized, and that can, the cross linking of that acrylamide and bisacrylamide provided the pores, and that pores used to migrate the protein. And that acrylamide and bisacrylamide cross linked by the two things. First is APS and second is TAMAT. Okay, APS initiate the reaction and TAMAT used for the free radical removal. The gel is usually prepared immediately before use by polymerization from the monomer unit. So monomer unit, acrylamide plus bisacrylamide monomer unit bind together and then form the cross linking of the gel. The pore size of the gel can be adjusted so that is small enough to retard the migration of the protein molecule of interest. You can use concentration of the gel according to their molecular weight or size of that protein. Okay, if there normally page having the concentration of 12%, so your range for the 12%, your range will be, ये तो सब पढ़ चुके हो ना, 12% पे रेंज कितनी थी? हाँ, 3.5 to 10 kg. The proteins in solution. मुझे लग रहा ना. The protein in solution include a powerful negatively charged detergent, sodium dodecyl sulfate. Okay, so by the use of sodium dodecyl sulfate, we can provide it the neutral charge, we can provide it the negative charge to the neutral protein, so it can be easily migrated. Then SDS bind to hydrophobic region of the protein molecule, causing them to unfold the extended polypeptide chain. Okay. Next is beta mercaptothenol. So the purpose of beta mercaptothenol is reduce the disulfide bond, so make the protein into a linear form. Beta mercaptothenol also used in a general है, beta also used in a home appliances. किसमें use होता है? बीटा मर्कैप्टोइथेनॉल घरों में भी कोई प्रोडक्ट है जिसमें यूज होता है, किसमें होता है? जो जो होता है ना पेट्रोलियम जो गैस होती है एलपीजी, उसकी जो स्मेल होती है ना, इसको स्मेल क्या है? वही बीटा मर्कैप्टोइथेनॉल की होती है। जो एलपीजी में जो स्मेल है ना, वो स्मेल इसमें बीटा मर्कैप्टोइथेनॉल की यूज करके डालेंगे। वो एलपीजी की वैसी अपनी खुद की कोई स्मेल नहीं है, इतनी प्रेजेंट स्मेल होता है कि लैब में आपने इसका एक भी बोतल या ड्रॉप इधर उधर कर दिया तो आपको कि लैब में मालूम हो जाता है कि इनका बीटा मर्कैप्टोइथेनॉल ओपन हुआ है। तो ये उसी की स्मेल होती है जो एलपीजी में यूज करते हैं। ये क्या करेगा? डाइसल्फाइड बॉन्ड को ब्रेक करेगा। डाइसल्फाइड बॉन्ड को ब्रेक करेगा तो प्रोटीन दैट विल बी चेंज इनटू द लीनियर फॉर्म। इंट्राचेन डाइसल्फाइड बॉन्ड और इंटरचेन डाइसल्फाइड बॉन्ड। हाँ, इंटरचेन तो डाइसल्फाइड बॉन्ड बनती है क्या? नेक्स्ट इज large proteins are retarded much more severely than small ones. They are quaternary structure or hemoglobin or whatever, they have a more polypeptide chain as a normal one. So first we break the hydrophobic interactions between two molecules. Suppose here hemoglobin structure, this one has a 4 polypeptide chain. So first problem is that you have to break these proteins, or you have to break these bonds by which these two proteins or two alpha or two beta proteins are joined together. So first you go through the breakdown of the hydrophobic interactions. Okay, so the hydrophobic interaction will be break by the any hydrophobic interactions in any pair. The hydrophobic, if you want to break the hydrophobic interactions, so you use the इससे ब्रेक करें। हाइड्रोफोबिक इंटरेक्शंस कैन बी ब्रेक बाय कहीं पर भी हो, किसी भी जगह भी हाइड्रोफोबिक इंटरेक्शंस हो, इफ यू वांट टू ब्रेक दैट हाइड्रोफोबिक इंटरेक्शंस और हाइड्रोफोबिक बॉन्ड, सो कैन सिंपली यू यूज किससे हो? कोई है जो हाइड्रोफोबिक इंटरेक्शंस को ब्रेक करता है? यूरिया you can use urea or detergent or any other thing which can break the hydrophobic interactions. So protein with two subunit A and B or B or C or whatever you can break. If they didn't have the disulfide bond, they are bind jointly. Normally two proteins are always bind together with the hydrophobic interactions, and that interaction will be break by the urea. So first you break the hydrophobic interactions, then the chain of the polypeptide will be released or removed out. Then you use the disulfide. You use the breakdown of the disulfide with the help of the beta mercaptoethanol. Beta mercaptoethanol break the disulfide bond, so protein change into a linear form. Okay, so first we break the hydrophobic bond, then protein change in a single subunit protein, then use a mercaptoethanol, then break the disulfide bond, then you bind with that protein with the SDS molecule, and SDS molecule provided the negatively charge on the surface of that protein. Okay, and after that you go through the base or polyacrylamide gel electrophorese. Okay. This one is a case, in the case when you have to, your objective is you want to isolate, or your protein of interest is cytoplasmic protein. Okay. If your protein is membrane protein or cell membrane or cytoplasmic membrane protein, then you use with the urea you can use a EDTA, which can remove the diagonal cation and you can separate it out the two proteins from any type of mixture or solution. Okay, in the cytoplasmic protein or in the membrane protein, the protein integral or peripheral protein joined together with the lipid bilayer. Na? So between lipid and protein, there is a interaction. There is also a hydrophilic interaction between lipid molecule and protein molecule. So that interaction also break by the urea and EDTA. In that case, EDTA plus urea. Okay. So both protein molecule will be released from the lipid bilayer. So you can use in that case urea plus HDS molecule. Then separate all types of protein, including those that are insoluble in water. Okay. This one is a different thing. Separate all types of protein, including those that are soluble in water. What does it mean? Soluble, that those are insoluble in water. Insoluble in water means hydrophobic compound होगा ना, और chylomicron formation or mycelis formation lipid bilayer that. Next is membrane protein component of the cytoskeleton and that are part of the large macromolecular can all be resolved by this method. Any type of polypeptide chain, first you fragmented out all this polypeptide chain, then you break that disulfide bond of that protein and then you isolate that protein via the centrifugation. So that is gel electrophoresis. Now the second step is gel electrophoresis. When you have to prepare a sample or when you have to isolate your desired protein, then you go through the gel electrophoresis. In gel electrophoresis, the protein sample is diluted with the sample buffer and it is taken for the 10 minutes at 70 degrees Celsius. Then 70 डिग्री सेल्सियस पर प्रोटीन एग्लूटिनेट नहीं होगा क्या? अगर सपोज एग एल्बुमिन लिया हुआ है तुमने और उसको 70 डिग्री सेल्सियस पर आप हीट करोगे तो सॉलिडिफाई होगा? कितने टेम्परेचर पे स्टार्ट होता है? जैसे प्रोटीन का जैसे डीएनए का डीनेचुरेशन स्टार्ट होता है ना, किस टेम्परेचर से स्टार्ट हो जाता है? डीनेचुरेशन कब स्टार्ट होता है? कंप्लीट डीनेचुरेशन जो होता है वो 90 डिग्री और 92 डिग्री सेल्सियस पर कंप्लीट हो जाता है। स्टार्ट कब होता है? डीनेचुरेशन होगा ना, तो उस सेल्स होंगी बाइंड करेंगे, कहीं पर होगा, कहीं पर बाइंड होगा, कहीं पर पहले हो जाएगा, यहाँ पर डीनेचुरेशन पहले होगा, कहीं पर बाद में होगा। तो जो ओवरऑल स्टार्ट होता है डीएनए का डीनेचुरेशन जो किस टेम्परेचर से स्टार्ट होता है? ये टेम्परेचर रेंज हो जाएगी 80 डिग्री सेल्सियस। 80 डिग्री सेल्सियस से DNA denaturation will be start. Okay. And up to 92 degree Celsius or above 90 degree Celsius, complete DNA will be denatured. And if you want to remove the DNTP or if you want to fragment out the DNTP or broken the DNTP, then you then maximize this temperature onto 110 degrees Celsius. At 110 degrees Celsius, all the DNTP will be broken. Next is the sample is then centrifuged at 5000 G. Okay. So when you have to centrifuge this sample, that means all the degrees which is present in the homogeneous mixture that will be precipitated and supernatant at the sample or the protein sample. Okay. Then gel case is removed from the pouch and is placed in the buffer tank against the rubber seal, और ये the running buffer is poured into the upper reservoir. ये देखिए, तो सैंपल लोडेड होगा, स्टैकिंग जेल, रनिंग जेल, ये नॉर्मली पेज हो गया, ठीक है, जिसमें बफर स्टैकिंग जेल हो गया, रनिंग जेल, ट्रांसफर बफर हो गया और मिक्स कर दो। ट्रांसफर बफर का पीएच कितना होता है? जो रनिंग बफर होता है, ट्रांसफर बफर का जो यूज करते हैं, उसका कितना पीएच होता है बफर का? तो रिजॉल्विंग जेल का होता है, बफर का पीएच कितना रखते हैं? न्यूट्रल होगा?
तो बफर का पीएच न्यूट्रल होता है।
हाँ, वही तो मैं इससे पूछ रहा हूँ। The gel case is removed from the pouch and is placed in the buffer tank against the rubber seal. The gel wall, वो ट्रेस बफर होता है, कौन सा बफर होता है चाहिए? ट्रेस बफर होगा ना, और ट्रेस एससीएल बफर होगा तो कौन सा बफर यूज करते हैं इलेक्ट्रोफोरेसिस में? ट्रेस बफर और ट्रेस एससीएल बफर? आपस में तुम तो पल लड़के आधे करो, अगर ट्रेस बफर होगा दैट मीन्स ट्रेस बफर हैविंग अ न्यूट्रल पीएच. If you're talking about the tris axial, that means this one have a acidic pH. Okay. So tris axial is only used for the isolation of DNA molecule or for the isolation of any biomolecules. Okay. If you're talking about the tris buffer, that means it is used as a running buffer. Okay. Next is one more thing. अगर इलेक्ट्रिक करंट को तुम्हें फास्ट करना है, suppose if you want to movement of protein molecule much more higher, or if you want to migrate that protein molecule much more faster, or DNA molecule much more faster, so the pH of the buffer is also a factor. If you using the acidic pH for the buffer, that means current will move faster or slower. Current will move faster. Okay? And if the current will move faster, that means migration will be the rate of migration will be also faster. लेकिन उसमें क्या होगा, जब तुम करंट को ज्यादा फास्ट मूव करोगे तो हीट जनरेट होगी ना, और उस हीट से तुम्हारा जो बायोमॉलिक्यूल्स है और डीएनए आरएनए जो भी है वो बेकार हो जाता है. इस वजह से हम उसको यूज ही नहीं करते. The running buffer is poured onto the upper reservoir while ensuring that no buffer leakage in lower tank. Each of the well is then loaded with an equal volume of heat denatured sample, and one of the lenses is reserved for the protein ladder. एक वेल को छोड़ देंगे, बाकी में जो सैंपल है वो लोड कर देंगे. लेट इज प्लेस कर दिया, और वोल्टेज जो है 200 वोल्ट फॉर द 15 मिनट. In spite of western plotting, northern and southern plotting, both procedures don't have any voltage or voltage current supply. Only you have to place a gel, then you use a pressure on that, so easily DNA or RNA molecule will be separated on the nitrocellulose membrane without the use of or without the help of any electric current. But in the protein case, that will be not separated easily, or not separated easily, or not transfer from the gel to nitrocellulose membrane. Why? Why protein molecule are not easily transfer from the gel to membrane?
Because it has both charges.
चार्जेस से उसके सरफेस पे कोई फर्क नहीं पड़ेगा. चार्ज तुम पहले उसको प्रोवाइड करा चुके हो ना, तो बैंड तो सेपरेट हो गया ना। प्रोटीन मॉलिक्यूल प्रोसीजर क्या है, तुमने दिस वन इज ए प्रोटीन मॉलिक्यूल, यू यूज इट फॉर द this protein molecule use a urea plus ETTA and whatever, so protein molecule will be polypeptide chain will be broken down. Then you use the beta marcaptodron. This beta marcaptodron break down the disulfide, so your protein change into the linear structure, and this linear protein will be separated with the on the page electroforces. In page electroforces you use a ladder and you loaded the sample, so your band will be formed, and this band will be transferred on the nitrocellulose membrane. Okay, so the transfer of the protein band on the nitrocellulose membrane required the electric current. Why?
It's a little for corrosive glue.
इसका कोई फर्क पड़ेगा मुझे? डीएनए क्यों होता है पहले देखो ना, इजिली डीएनए और आरएनए विल बी इजिली सेपरेटेड और इजिली ट्रांसफर फ्रॉम द जेल टू मेम्ब्रेन, व्हाइल प्रोटीन मॉलिक्यूल विल नॉट सेपरेटेड फ्रॉम द जेल टू नाइट्रोसेलुलर मेम्ब्रेन.
तो डीएनए से स्टैंडर्ड फॉर्म में होता है, बट प्रोटीन कंटेन कार्बोक्सिल ग्रुप एंड एज वेल एज अमीनो ग्रुप बोथ द मेन फैक्टर.
तो लास्ट ईयर में जो वो पढ़ाया था सदर्न ब्लॉटिंग, when we discussed about the southern and northern blotting, so this is the, suppose this one is the English standard, so before transfer of the nitrocellulose membrane, that will be on the form of the single stranded. Okay, and after single stranded DNA RNA will be in single stranded, then they have to transform the nitrocellulose membrane. Nitrocellulose membrane provide the hydrophobic interactions. So by which hydrophobic interactions these and all the single stranded DNA RNA molecules have a remaining hydrogen bond, so they can easily transfer or they can make a bond between nitrocellulose membrane and band, so that it will be easily transferred. But protein molecule didn't have any type of bond or any type of thing. That's why it cannot easily transfer to the nitrocellulose membrane. That's why we need a current, electric current or stimulation by which a protein molecule or transfer on the nitrocellulose membrane. Then protein transfer. So why a protein molecule will transfer? The transfer buffer is prepared, 10% methanol to the buffer, transfer case is taken, foam sponge is wet filter, nitrocellulose membrane is wet with the transfer buffer and is placed on the top of 5 the nitrocellulose membrane is wet with the transfer buffer and is placed on top of the gel in a way that there are no bubbles between the gel and the membrane, and the transfer case is placed into the transfer tank, which is further filled with the transfer buffer, and then tank connected to the over, and then membrane protein will be transferred. Once the transfer is complete, the transfer case is removed, and the nitrocellulose membrane is removed from the gel. इसमें तो लिखी नहीं, इसमें actual the protein, the transfer of protein from the gel to nitrocellulose membrane is because of lack of hydrophobic interactions. So there is an external stimulus which is provided by the electric current. So at a certain voltage or certain time, the protein molecule will be transferred on the nitrocellulose membrane. Okay, as compared to southern blot or western blot. This one is a journal procedure. First is a cascade. These are the cassette, then sponge, then layer, filter papers for the extra soaking of buffer, blotting membrane, nitrocellulose, gel, filter paper, current supply. Why? This one is preparing the blotting sandwich. Place the cassette. There are two plastic plate in which you use a gel and membrane. Then place one pre-wetted fiber pad on the gray side of the cassette. Place a suit on filter paper on the fiber. Place a gel on filter paper, taking care to remove air bubbles. Place the pre-wetted nitrocellulose membrane on the gel. Place the second fiber pad. Electrophotic transfer. Transfer protein from the gel to the nitrocellulose membrane. 30 minutes, 100 volt. Blotting buffer, test glycine with 20% ethanol. First top layer is a fiber pad, filter paper, membrane, then gel, filter paper, fiber pad, gel holder, and electric current. Positive anode to cathode. Electric current flow from cathode to anode or anode to cathode? Blocking buffer, remove membrane, blocking. This one is an important thing. When you have to transfer the nitrocellulose protein on the nitrocellulose membrane, there nitrocellulose membrane has a remaining size. So in this case, 5% non-fat milk, you can use a substitute for that. There is a 10% weight by volume BSA, bovine serum albumin. Actually, when you transfer gel on the nitrocellulose membrane, so there are the remaining sites. The protein will transfer according to their as it is present on the gel, but the membrane also have a remaining sites instead of where the protein is bind. So actually, these remaining sites, when the probe will not bind onto these remaining sites. So, to avoid the binding of probe on these remaining sites, we incubate this nitrocellulose membrane on 10% weight by volume BSA, or in case if the BSA is not available, there is a substitute, that is 5% non-fat milk. Okay, so the use of this BSA or non-fat milk, they actually block all the remaining hydrophobic sites which is present on the nitrocellulose membrane. So when you use a probe molecule, so probe molecule have a tend to bind on that protein band. Okay, it will not bind to the remaining site or it will not bind to anywhere else. Okay, so it will bind on the desired protein or protein of interest. So there is a blocking solution used. And that blocking solution contains the non-fat milk, a phosphate buffer saline that provide a correct environment or PSR to maintain the protein safe, and 0.025% 20 non-ionic detergent that prevents the non-specific binding of antibodies to the membrane. Then visualization. The membrane is washed with this buffer saline for 5 minutes in a petri dish. Then 10% milk, membrane what is buffer to remove. So, how can you visualize a protein band? Suppose your protein of interest is a different, so how can you visualize this protein band? A protein band can be, suppose there are 4 or 5 protein. In a test tube, there are 4 or 5 protein, and this 5 protein, your protein of interest is X, and you have to use a paste. So in this paste, the protein band will be separated, and now you transfer this protein band on the nitrocellulose membrane. So how can you identify that this one is a X protein and which one is a X protein? So you use a probe, and for the protein probe is, how can you use a particular protein? How can you recognize or detect a particular protein? Suppose there is a 4 protein mixture A, B, C and D, and you want to isolate C protein from that mixture. Okay, so you have any type of thing which can recognize only the C protein.
Labeled antibodies.
Huh?
Labeled antibodies.
Labeled antibody?
Yes, sir.
From which?
Sir, for specific proteins that are bind and then it will give fluorescence.
Labeled antibody is already labeled with that will be conjugated antibody. Normally, first we use the primary antibody. That antibody will be against to that particular protein. Suppose there is a 3 types of protein and your protein of interest is this. So you use a antibody which is only specific for that protein. So this protein or a antibody will bind on that protein of interest. Okay. So this primary protein, this primary antibody is not a labeled antibody. This primary antibody is only primary antibody. A antibody which is against your protein of interest. Okay. So that's why this antibody will bind on a specific band or a specific protein which is present on the nitrocellulose membrane. Okay. And for the visualization purpose, a secondary antibody will be used, and that will be a radio label. If you want to go through the autoradiography, or you use a enzyme antibody, okay, and the enzyme antibody. So this one is a enzyme antibody, and this enzyme antibody, when you use a substrate for this enzyme antibody, substrate react with the enzyme, and the color will be obtained. Okay, so this enzyme must be a chemiluminescent of fluorescent color. Okay, so your protein of interest will be appear. Okay, you know about that. This one is a protein of interest. So secondary antibody will be enzyme conjugated, and the most generally or most abundant number of antibody secondary enzyme will be used for this making of secondary antibody. That will be HRP. Okay, or beta galactosidase. If you want to go through the cheap one, beta galactosidase, ELISA में कौन से 3 एंजाइम यूज होते हैं? The enzymes which are using in ELISA beta, इसके अलावा और होते हैं. HRP ना हो तब क्या करोगे? खाली बैठे रहोगे, कोई काम नहीं करोगे. फिर अगर HRP नहीं मिला लैब में तो बैठे कोई काम नहीं करना. HRP के अलावा और कौन से एंजाइम हैं? एक स्ट्रोबल मार्कर यूज होता है ना, बीटा गैलेक्टोसाइडेज हो गया, HRP हो गया. HRP कौन सा कलर देता है? हाँ, लो बीटा गैलेक्टोसाइडेज. और तीसरा कौन सा एंजाइम है? यस, अल्कालाइन फॉस्फेट. 3 एंजाइम्स कैन बी यूज्ड इन ELISA. और इन तीनों का वो क्या है? सबस्ट्रेट कौन सा है? लो ये तो इसमें भी होगा ना. सबस्ट्रेट कौन सा यूज करोगे इन तीनों में? जो कोई कॉमन सबस्ट्रेट यूज हो जाए है कोई? A probe present on the antibody can be an enzyme that produces a color reaction or a luminescent signal by which you have to recognize your protein of interest. The membrane with the antibody is incubated for 3 hours at room temperature, so the color will be appear. HRP conjugated enzyme, secondary antibody. So the substrate, the membrane is incubated with the substrate for 5 minutes, and the observation is made, and the substrate will be substrate निकालो. हाँ, इन तीनों एंजाइम का कोई एक सबस्ट्रेट है, या तीनों का अलग ही अलग बता दो, कुछ भी कोई एक सबस्ट्रेट तो बताओ जिससे बाइंड करके कलर देगा। लैक्टोज तो वो ब्राउन में चला गया, वो स्ट्रोबल मार्कर पर जब तुम लैकिंग करोगे तो बीटा बीटा की जो डाई बनती है ना, जो स्ट्रोबल मार्कर की तरह यूज होता है, वो तो अलग होगा। वो जब प्रोमोटर सीक्वेंस लगाओगे, when you have to express the gene of beta galactosidase, then you use a X-gal dye, so then a particular cavity will be appear as a color. But in this case, when you perform the ELISA or clotting or secondary enzymic antibody, then the substrate will be a citrate or H2O2. हाँ? गलत बता रहे हैं? सही है, थैंक यू। Detection signal or repeating communicant enzyme substrate target protein primary antibody. Primary antibody, this one is a IgG, IgGm, or which type of antibody is this? Primary antibody means IgM होगा तो तुम्हें इसको पेंटामर में चेंज करना, मोनोमर में चेंज करना पड़ेगा। प्राइमरी एंटीबॉडी कौन सी यूज करते हैं? IgA। IG तो सिक्रेटरी कंपोनेंट है, तो एक्सप्रेस नहीं होगी। कोई भी सपोज एक एक्स एंटीजन तुमने लिया, इसको ऐसा समझो ना, सपोज ये एक्स एंटीजन लिया तुमने, इसके अगेंस्ट में प्राइमरी एंटीबॉडी फॉर्म की, ठीक है ना। तो एंटीबॉडी जो बनेगी वो फर्स्ट एंटीबॉडी कौन सी फॉर्म होगी? इस एक्स एंटीजन को तुमने एक माइस में इंजेक्ट किया, ठीक है ना। सो माइस, देन यू हैव टू आइसोलेटेड द माइस सीरम, you isolated the blood, then centrifuge 5000 rpm, then you find the serum, and in this serum the antibody will be IgG. So primary antibody will be IgG. Then this one is a adenine secondary antibody. Secondary antibody will be against the protein or will be against the secondary enzyme linked antibody, that will be against the primary antibody. It will not against your antigen. It will be against the primary antibody, or it will not against the protein. It will against the primary antibody. एंड प्राइमरी एंटीबॉडी में किसके अगेंस्ट में होगा? जो उसका FC रीजन है, ठीक है, जो कांस्टेंट चेन है। तो क्या एक्ट एंजाइम सब्सट्रेट HRP incubate for 10 minutes, terminated substrate cleave, enzyme conjugated to attach the secondary antibody, and the color will obtain. Result interpretation of Western blot. The result of Western blotting depends on the type of the probe used during the process. Either it is a luminescent probe, or either it is a fluorescent probe, or either it is a enzyme conjugated probe. The enzyme conjugated secondary antibody used the reaction between the substrate and enzyme, which produces the colorimetry effect. The soluble dye is converted into insoluble form, and the different color in the membrane. Then if you want to measure the intensity of the color, that will be done by the ELISA reader or normal spectroscopy. And the intensity of the color will be directly proportional to the वेस्टर्न ब्लॉट में कुछ इंटेंसिटी होगी कलर की? हाँ, इसमें कितनी एंटीबॉडी बाइंड हो जाएगी? इसमें कितनी एक ही बैंड है ना, हाँ, तो इसमें मिनिमम ही तो एंटीबॉडी बाइंड करेगी, तो उसकी जो इंटेंसिटी कलर की होगी कैसे फिजर, तो इसमें इंटेंसिटी ऑफ कलर में कुछ फर्क ही नहीं पड़ता, तो रिकॉग्नाइज एज अ प्रोब एक एंटीबॉडी भी बाइंड करेगी ना। उससे क्या मतलब है इंटेंसिटी का, यहाँ पर कोई एंटीजन 10 एंटीजन थोड़ी आएगी, 10 एंटीबॉडी आगे बाइंड करेंगी तो इंटेंसिटी कलर देगा, वो तो सिर्फ अपीयर है ना, विजुअलाइजेशन। नहीं समझे? तो एक ही एंटीबॉडी, एक ही बैंड है, एक ही प्रोटीन है, एक ही एंटीबॉडी है, तो एक ही एंजाइम कॉन्जुगेटेड होगा, तो जो कलर उसको एक बार में देना है आपको मिलेगा। दैट मीन्स द इंटेंसिटी ऑफ कलर इसमें कुछ मतलब ही नहीं है। इट इज ओनली टू विजुअलाइज दैट protein of interest. Now this one is important thing. ELISA versus Western blot. Why in current scenario we use Western blot rather than ELISA? This one is important thing. ELISA versus Western blot. ELISA providing a quick result. Primary screening identifies protein by the antibody specificity only. Okay, but in case of Western blot, it confirmed ELISA result. It confirmed ELISA result means Western blot go through the it confirmed ELISA result. So, why Western blot is much more superior than ELISA? Or how when the things are not confirmed by the ELISA testing, so it will be done by the Western blot. So it confirmed ELISA result. Suppose you want to test the HIV, you want to perform the HIV test, and ELISA gives a positive result on that blood test or on that, then you perform the Western blot. So for the Western blot, you take the sample. Which type of sample? कौन किस, अगर तुम्हें एक ह्यूमन है, सपोज ए है, उसका प्रोटीन सैंपल लेना है, क्या लोगे? सीरम प्रोटीन तो है, तो सीरम ही लोगे, तो उसमें सीरम में उसको क्या मिलेगा? सीरम से में क्या मिलेगा? एंटीजन नहीं मिलेगा, एंटीबॉडी मिलेगी ना, वो स्पेसिफिक एंटीबॉडी मिलेगी जो उस एपिटोप पे जाके बाइंड होने के बाद सेंसिटाइज होगी ना। वी फाइंड ए स्पेसिफिक एंटीबॉडी अगेंस्ट द एपिटोप ऑफ रेट्रोवायरस, ओके, एंड दैट स्पेसिफिक एंटीबॉडी as it is an immunoglobulin protein molecule. Okay, so this immunoglobulin protein molecule have a conformation with the Western blot. Okay, we take out the serum, then we prepare this serum and perform a phase electrophoresis or immunoelectrophoresis, you can say. When you have to perform a immunoelectrophoresis, then it will be transferred this immunoglot onto the nitrocellulose membrane. Then you use the next antibody which is against the retrovirus epitope. Okay, that will bind on that antibody which is present on the serum patients. Then you identify that this one is a antigen epitope or this one is an antibody which is having the same epitope. Okay. So it is confirmed by the ELISA result. More specific, identifies protein by both antibodies specificity and size. Okay. So the antibody sensitized with the help of the epitope, and that antibody will be recognized by the Western blot. So it can confirm, or we can confirm ELISA result with the help of the Western blot. So that's why Western blot is much more superior than ELISA. Application of Western blotting is an excellent method. Particular low quantity HIV. The confirmatory test for HIV involved Western blot by detecting anti-HIV antibodies in the serum. The technique has been used to quantify proteins and other gene products in gene expression studies. Since Western blotting detect a protein by their size and ability to bind to the antibody, and it is appropriate for evaluating the protein expression in the cells and further analysis of protein fractionation during protein purification. Western blot is also used for the cytokines formation and growth factors and hormone expression. In all these things you can use the Western blot analysis. These are the limitations of the Western blot. The most promising limitations of the Western blot is that Western blotting can only be performed for the property of the primary antibody. Point number 5. For the proteins are available. If you didn't have a primary antibody for that particular protein, we cannot perform a Western blot. Okay. Then same antibody may exhibit off target by interacting with a more than one protein. Suppose one antigen molecule have a different type of epitope, or one protein molecule have a similar surface structure. So a primary antibody also bind on that protein too. Okay. So there are two bands or two visualization bands will form. So you cannot differentiate between these two bands. Then this one is a blot from unstained gel. It is the pick for the stained gel and pick for the unstained gel. Small proteins might not be retained by the membrane, whereas a large protein are difficult to transfer to the membrane. If you have any questions, please ask. Yeah. Okay. Thank you.